It was raining that evening when I drove past my old home, the one I hadn't seen in years. Something caught my eye at the gate. A black trash bag torn open, water running through it. At first, I thought it was just garbage, until I saw a small photo slide out and land near my car tyre. When I picked it up, I froze. It was me, a 6-year-old girl with 2 missing teeth, smiling at a birthday cake. I grew up in that house, yellow walls, creaky stairs, a guava tree that my father planted the day I was born. We weren't rich, but life felt full. My mother's laughter filled every corner. My father's voice read stories every night. But things changed. Arguments grew louder than laughter. Money got tight, tempers got shorter, and love became something we only talked about in the past tense. When I turned 16, my parents separated. Mum took me with her to a small apartment across town. We left behind furniture, memories, and, I thought, peace. I never went back, not for years. But that day, when I saw my childhood photos lying in the dirt, I realised someone had thrown away everything we ever were. I stood there in the rain, staring at that bag. Inside were dozens of photos, old toys, birthday cards, even the drawing I made for my dad on his first Father's Day. All of it. Discarded. Like it never mattered. My hands trembled as I picked up one photo after another. There was Mum in her floral apron, laughing while I licked cake batter off a spoon. Dad carrying me on his shoulders at the fair. Our dog Bruno chasing bubbles in the yard. Everything looked so alive. And yet now, it all felt like it belonged to someone else. The new family living there. Their voices echoed from inside the house. Children were laughing. A woman called out for dinner. For a moment, I imagined it was still us. Then the reality hit. Someone else had replaced our story. I wanted to knock on the door to ask why. But what would I even say? This was my home. You threw away my life? No. I just stood there, soaked, silent. As I looked closer, I noticed something tucked inside a broken frame, a note written in my mother's handwriting. It said, "For my little girl, never forget where you come from." The ink had faded, but those words burned into my heart. Maybe this wasn't someone else's doing. Maybe my mother had tried to let go of the past, to finally move on. I gathered every photo, every card, and placed them gently in a box from my car. I didn't want to rescue the house or the memories that hurt. I just wanted to keep the proof that we once loved, we once belonged somewhere. When I got home, I dried each photo with a towel, one by one. Some were too damaged to save, but I kept them anyway. They were part of a story, even if the story had cracks. Later that night, I called my mother. She was quiet for a while, then said softly, "I didn't think anyone would ever find those." Her voice trembled. I couldn't bear to look at them anymore, but I couldn't throw them away either. I didn't blame her. Some memories are too heavy to carry, even for the people who lived them. But finding them, that was my turn to carry them, differently. Now those photos sit in a small wooden box on my shelf. Not as reminders of what I lost, but of what I had. Because sometimes, the past doesn't need fixing. It just needs to be remembered. They say you can't go home again, but that day, standing in the rain with my childhood in my hands, I realised home isn't a place. It's a feeling that survives, even in the trash. If this story touched your heart, please like, share and subscribe.